Most of you by now know that I work at VIP Mortgage. A lot of you may not know why or how I got there. For us as LOs, we have a lot of options, and for me, VIP Mortgage was the perfect fit and the best place, in my opinion, to work. So if you have any questions about VIP Mortgage as an LO, or if you are a consumer and you're looking for a mortgage, you can reach out to me on social media, or you can reach out to anybody else that you may know at VIP Mortgage. And our website is vipmtginc.com. On this episode of Real Talk with Ryan Madrid, we have Howard Epstein from Arizona Housing Fund. To me, this one is something that I really need people to pay attention to and watch, listen. This is something that our team, the Crawford team, is going to be contributing towards. And Howard gives a great description of what the Arizona Housing Fund is and how to get involved in it. But we do have a problem with homelessness in this state, specifically in the Maricopa County, and we need help raising money to do so. And the Arizona Housing Fund is an incredible project, nonprofit that's doing this. So we're personally contributing to it. We're going to be moving forward with our team first, then we're going to try to roll this out within our entire company. And I know there's a lot of other brokerages and real estate agents in town that are already doing this as well. So please pay attention to this. It's more of a PSA. Howard's an interesting guy, and you're going to get a lot of information on how to do this and how to help this situation that we have going on. So again, Howard Epstein with Arizona Housing Fund. Thank you. Welcome, everybody, to Real Talk with Ryan Madrid. I have a special guest here today. His name is Howard Epstein. Thank you. I almost said Epstein. Sorry. Epstein with the Arizona Housing Fund. You have your job is working at Bank of America, correct? Yep. And your role, I wrote this down because I know what an REO is, but it says you are the OREO. So that is the executive, so the National OREO executive at Bank of America. So what does that mean exactly?
So it means I run the division that sells all of the commercial real estate around the country.
Oh, okay.
So OREO is just an accounting term.
Okay.
So I sell real estate.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. I think a lot of people, so I thought that it'd be important because we're going to be dealing with a lot of people that are going to be watching their mortgage and real estate people, obviously. Everybody, I think most people know what an REO is. So let's talk about, so the reason why he's here today is because my sister saw you speak at the Brokery, and our good friend Brian North with North&Co also told me that you were somebody he was working with that I should have you on the show, and so we can get the word out to more people, more brokerages. So you're with the Arizona Housing Fund, and that is underneath the Arizona Community Foundation? Is that how that works?
Yes, so the Arizona Housing Fund is a fund managed at the Arizona Community Foundation.
Okay.
So
explain to everybody what the Arizona Housing Foundation does, or what it is.
Arizona Housing Funds, it's a fund that is dedicated to giving equity grants to the nonprofits in our state who build and operate permanent supportive housing, low-income housing. Our fund is narrowly focused on doing three things. One, we're granting money to strictly nonprofits, so not for-profits. Two, it's got to be for new units, new inventory. People who are willing to bring, whether it's a remodel of an existing project or ground up, it's got to be new units. And third, the projects have to be focused on helping our most vulnerable, people who are chronically homeless, people who have severe disabilities. So it's helping the most vulnerable people in our state.
So I was looking at one of the videos that you guys had made, and it did show like the tents around town, and I don't think a lot of people know that I mean, I think people know that we have a homeless problem in the country. I didn't realize there was a part of town that there was tents set up and people were living like. I mean, I've seen it in LA, obviously, from the news, but it's a bigger problem than I think the average person probably knows about. And another thing, obviously, the veterans is an issue, homeless veterans out there. It said, I think, was it 5,000 people on any given day are out and about living on the streets, or is it 10,000?
Yeah, first of all, the tent city that you see is actually right outside the Human Services campus downtown. And if you don't work and live downtown, you've probably never seen it. So the Human Services campus is houses emergency shelters, St. Vincent de Paul, which serves dinner, Andre House that serves St. Vincent de Paul serves lunch, Andre House serves dinner. So it's really geared towards helping homeless individuals. But the problem is that we know of, there's 10,000 people, literally 10,000 people whose name is on a list who's looking for permanent housing. Those are the people that we're really trying to help, because we're not going to end homelessness forever.
Right.
There's certain populations that may never get off the streets.
Right.
There's some lifestyle, particularly with younger people who like living on the street. That's not who we're just trying to help the people who want help.
Right.
And again, it's a significant number. It's 10,000 people.
So these are people that have applied. These are people. So the homeless rate is way more than I was thinking. So
it's substantial.
Yeah. So down in that area where St. Vincent de Paul is in the Andre House, is that what it's called, the Andre House? Are they all in the same, like, where is that exactly?
Like 12th Avenue and Madison.
Okay.
So it's sort of between the Capitol and downtown.
And having the tents out, is that a new thing, or has that been around? Have we been doing this for a while?
Yeah. There used to be the emergency shelter on the campus is called Central Arizona Shelter Services, CAS. It houses 400 people. It's an emergency. You can stay there for like 90 days.
Okay.
There used to be something called there used to be another outdoor shelter that people could sleep in overnight, and they removed that, but it didn't solve the homeless problem. So tents were set up, and it's growing, and it's very sad. I mean, the pictures, if you haven't seen it, the pictures are equally as sad.
Yeah, I mean, you should go look at the website and just watch these videos and just dig a little bit, and it's pretty impactful, especially the one just there's families, there's kids, their mom trying to figure out find a place to live, and I'm assuming this is so. Is this how you got involved? You just saw this, or how did you? Yeah,
so I've been involved fighting this challenge for about 25 years.
Oh, wow.
So for about 20 of those years, I was on the board. I mentioned CAS, Central Arizona Shelter Services. I was on that board. And then for about 15 years, I've been board chairman of another agency called Arizona Housing, Inc., unrelated to this fund, that owns and operates permanent supportive housing. So I've been involved with this for a really long time. And the fund actually came about because it's just a money problem. It's math, right? So when through my work with Arizona Housing, Inc., we would see any time we would bring new units online, we could see it working. We'd immediately fill it up. People would move out of the shelters into housing. People could come off the streets into shelters, and you could see that's how it's supposed to work. But you look at all of the nonprofits who do this kind of thing, and we're all 100% full all of the time. We have a 6-month waiting list to get into our projects. So things are just stuck. There's no place for, because the shelters are full, there's no place for the people to get off the streets or get out of their cars. And because permanent supportive housing is totally full, people just can't get out of those shelters. So it's a stuck system right now.
Right. So how does it work exactly? Let me just see if I understand from the basics. So I buy a house, and there's a buyer and a seller, so I go to title, sign my paperwork, and they ask if I want to donate $25 from the buyer and the seller, right? And so maybe there's $50 that gets donated into the fund. Is that right?
Yeah, so the fund itself takes contributions and donations from everybody and everywhere. So
Right.
whether it's not just the real estate industry, right? So banks, and we're about to hopefully soon make a big announcement with the Multi-Housing Association, apartment owners who are going to be involved in a big way. But our creative piece of this is the escrow donation program. And it actually was spawned by an idea I had a few years ago, where I just thought it would be really easy if we passed a law in this state that said, hey, anytime there's an escrowed transaction, buyer, seller, mortgagee, mortgagor, whatever, commercial, residential, $25 would be taken out of their proceeds. Seems pretty reasonable, probably. Okay, and the money, my idea was the money would go to the Arizona Department of Housing, and we kind of do what my fund is trying to. Everybody really liked the idea, and I learned after speaking to lobbyists and legislators that it's just not going to pass in the state. It's just not. There was propositions that passed that said you can't do that kind of thing. It was one of those things where it became an impossible task. So I kind of walked away. My head was down. I said, well, it was a really good idea. And then I had people kind of come up to me and said, no, don't give up on this. It's really important. Just, it's not going to be a law. It's not going to be government. But let's do it private sector. Let's do it. Make it philanthropic. Mm-hmm. So my good friend is Steve Hilton, who's the CEO of Meritage, and he was the one who said, hey, I'll start my company every time we sell a home. We'll ask our buyers to donate. We'll match it. I'll get other home builders to do it. And I started talking to other people. So it became an idea of, hey, let's pass a law to, okay, well, that's not going to happen. So let's do it philanthropically. And it's the equivalent of, when you go grocery shopping and you're checking out at Fry's or Safeway, and they say, hey, do you want to donate $1?
To PCH or whatever like that, yeah.
That's what this is.
Yeah.
So it's when you buy or sell a house, or you refinancing it, whatever it is.
Yep.
So, but instead of $1, it's $25. And whether it's a $200,000 home or $2 million, it's just it's going to be the cheapest line item on the settlement statement. Right. You're used to looking at settlement statement. Yeah. Okay. So that's how it works. So in theory, we would like every buyer and seller, everybody who's involved in an escrow, to have the opportunity to donate. Some groups are really taking it to the next level, like North&Co, where they're asking their agents to donate, where the company is donating, where they're asking a lot of their partners to donate. So they're taking a real holistic view of it, saying, hey, this is all hands on deck. We're going to ask everybody to do it per transaction. Some do, some don't. Yeah. Most do. So that's the model, and we're really, one by one trying to roll it out to different industries, different real estate companies. I've never had anybody that I've talked to about this say, no, we don't want to do it. It's usually, God, we got to figure out how we do it. Yeah, right. That's sort of the issue.
Totally. Yeah, that seems to be the sticking point for so many things that we try to do. Compliance comes in, and like, how are we going to handle this situation? So obviously, this is something that would be great for a mortgage company to get involved in as well, title as well. Obviously, you're going out to other industries, but from the real estate side of things, have you had any mortgage companies yet come up with the idea of how to go about doing it? Or should we start here and figure it out?
We have a couple who are working on it right now. There's one who's committed to doing it, and it's a competitor, and they feel compelled to be involved, just like North&Co is. That hey, this is a great thing. It just, up until lately, it hasn't been an industry I've been focused on, because I really wanted the residential real estate companies to do it, because it just seemed it
makes most sense.
Most makes sense. We got the Arizona Association of Realtors to endorse it. Yep. In fact, it's our one-page escrow donation form is actually embedded in their documents. So when you download to do a purchase contract, it's right there.
So it's just one other thing. So you don't really have to go and sign another deal. Okay.
So we're trying to make it as easy as possible. We're just trying to make it someday. I don't know when that's going to be, but I want it to be just like when you get your driver's license renewed at Department of Motor. They always ask you, do you want to be an organ donor?
Right.
Everybody knows that question is coming. Yep. I'd kind of like it to be that way. I'm going to close a house, refinance. you're going to be asked, do you want to donate $25? And again, some people will, some people won't, but the numbers are crazy, right? So if you
what
look
are the numbers? Like, what's the percentage that are doing it?
Well, so if you look at how many escrow transactions do we have in the state of Arizona it's several hundred thousand.
Yeah.
So if you multiply that by 25 or 50, you get millions and millions of dollars to solve this problem. And because it doesn't end, it would keep going. It would go on forever and it would solve this problem forever. So that's what our hope is in terms of like how many people are doing it. It's really hard to tell.
Okay.
I will say this: when clients are asked, a lot of brokers are hesitant to ask their clients. So like one of the brokers who's pretty well known who is participating in our program is Bobby Lieb with HomeSmart. Do you know Bobby?
Yep.
Okay. So he's taken it upon himself and said, hey, I'm going to donate $50 with every closing I do. Okay, that's really nice. I've been trying to get him to, ask your client if they want to donate too. And there's a lot of brokers that are like, I ask a lot of my clients. I don't want to ask them one more thing. I'm trying to get over that hurdle, but in the meantime, he's just personally doing so. Okay, we'll take that. So I think over time it'll get a little easier to
get some
that
traction.
Yeah, exactly.
And then people will just do it.
Yeah.
I did send out a message today because we're starting a foundation here. There's about 6 of us and sort of the executive team that have decided to do our own. So we're coming up with this idea. So I did send this today because this is a super in the infancy. We're trying to figure out how we want to roll it out and where we want to put our money. It's in our docket, so to speak, to talk about, and everybody seems to be super happy about that. We just got to figure out how we do it. Like you said, it takes time to figure that stuff out.
Yeah, I think one of the mortgage companies we're talking to, and they do pretty good volume, I think they're just right now committing to every loan they close, they're donating $25. So at the end of the month, if they've done 100 loans, they'll donate $2,500.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. I think honestly that's something that regardless if we're competition or not, the mortgage companies should get together kind of and just kind of agree that this is where we're at and this is what we're going to do. So offline if we want to, we can talk. But yeah, there's that way, and there's obviously said that you can go online to the website, and you can just donate money right then and there. So from the actual like building, like you said, ground up projects and stuff, has it been more difficult because? Well, few things have happened here. Obviously, the housing market has gone through the roof, so prices of building is more money now. So has it been more difficult from the side of like the apartment complexes, that sort of thing, like you were talking about before? I understand Meritage can do it because they're just blowing up. They're doing tons of houses. But I can just see the guys that are like the guys that I know that build apartment complexes or, I wouldn't say even like subsidized housing and stuff, like their cost has gone up, skyrocketed from construction. It's brutal.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
So like I look at projects that we, through this other nonprofit I'm involved in, we brought close to 600 units online in the last 10, 15 years. And we were able to buy projects at the time for 40 or 50,000 a unit, and put maybe 25 or 30,000 a unit into it. So turnkey, we could open up a permanent supportive housing project for $80,000 a unit.
Right.
It's probably starting at 125 to 150,000 a unit. So the costs are just skyrocketed. So it's going to be harder and more expensive. Unfortunately, that's just a factor of the market. We still need to put roofs over people's heads. It's just going to be more expensive.
Right.
So,
and those guys are for profit, right? So it's not like they're coming in and they're going to do it for free. So we need more money, put into the fund, obviously.
So you'll as a real estate person, you'll like this story. So back 10 years ago, when we bought a project, we had government money available during the global financial crisis. It was called Neighborhood Stabilization Funds. And the rules of getting this money was you had to buy a foreclosed property, a foreclosed apartment building. You had to get a new appraisal, and and you couldn't pay more than 99% of that appraisal. And the application process took 6 months. So I had to convince sellers, like banks, guys that do what I do, say, hey, would you like to sell that to me for a price I can't tell you what it's going to be, and it's going to take 6 months and I don't have the money yet.
Right.
But you know what? It worked. We did our first one. I actually called the CEO of the bank who was selling it, and I said, will you sell me this property? I'm gonna do it. And he said, why would I do this? Why would I give you a 6-month escrow and you can't even tell me what you're gonna buy it for? I convinced him to do it. We did one. Now we had a track record. We did another. We did 3. And so by luck or whatever, we got units. It's a little harder to do it now.
Yeah.
But again, it's just the need is there, and everybody's going to have to work a little harder.
So were those units that were foreclosed and now the bank owns them back, and so do you guys dip into I hate to use the words, okay, dip back into, so say somebody foreclosed on their property, now you guys own them. So now, is it easier to kind of go through the ones that Bank of America has versus like a Chase or somebody else, or doesn't matter?
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. But there haven't been apartment foreclosures, and there probably won't be. And the other problem is these were C properties.
Okay.
And because of C properties, I just saw these stats and they blew my mind. C properties 10 years ago were selling for $50,000 a unit.
Jeez.
Those same units, C properties, these aren't A or B,
right.
are now selling for $125,000 a unit.
So explain to what a C property is.
A bad one.
Yeah.
So
you're going to see them down.
So A means like new construction,
Yep.
really, Alliance or PB Bell or some really new stuff. B is sort of maybe stuff that's constructed in circa early 2000s. C means built in the 70s.
Yeah.
And it's old and it's not good.
Right.
So that's what that is.
And they're going for that much.
Yeah, because it's hard. But anyway, it's
Yeah.
so you're seeing a lot of the housing that we're trying to do. A lot of it's ground up now because the price is almost equivalent to what you can buy a used one for. So you're seeing more of that.
So this is a huge passion project of yours, obviously, at this point, and obviously you've been in this space for a long time, but this is super cool that it's gotten to this level. I think it seems to be catching fire because I hear about it a lot. So let's just talk a little bit about, when the people go to apply, what do they have to do? Like, what's the qualifications for somebody?
Apply to live in one of these places?
Yeah, to live in one of these places.
So it's almost like any other apartment project. From the outside, it looks like, and again, the nonprofits who do this, there's several of them, but UMOM and Save the Family and CPLC and Catholic Charities, Foundation for Senior Living. These projects all look like any other apartment building, except when you walk inside, if it's permanent support, it has more of a freshman dormitory feel.
Okay.
Right? So you walk in, there's somebody greeting you at the desk. Hi, John. How are you? How was work today?
Yeah.
There's supportive services there. So there's healthcare navigators, and there's if there's a veterans population in a facility, there'll be people from the Veterans Association to make sure that they're getting the benefits that they need. So those services are there. A lot of people have addiction issues. So we have a large project at downtown Phoenix, 300 units. I don't know I've ever been there. There wasn't an AA meeting taking place.
Really? Okay.
So that's what it is. But everybody signs a lease. Everybody pays rent. Everybody has to follow the rules. The biggest difference is it's not $1,200 a month. It's $500 a month. And almost everybody who lives there gets some sort of federal subsidy, whether you're severely handicapped or veteran or you have
disability,
whatever it is. So, but that's how it works. The problem is there's a long list to get in, and there's all those agencies I talked about. There's actually a global list where people, based on needs and things, you're on that list, and the next person up, when there is a vacancy, can move into one of the units. So again, it's just like any other apartment building. If you live in one of these things, you don't have to participate in supportive service. So if you're a low-income worker, you're a minimum wage worker. If you're a minimum wage worker and you're working 40 hours a week, maybe your take-home pay is $1,100 a month or something. So even if you could pay $500 a month rent, that leaves you like $15, $20 a day for food.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of room for error there. So those people don't necessarily need supportive services, and their goal is probably to move up and out. We call it graduating. But there are a lot of people there who, this is their home maybe forever. You're right. So our average stay is about 5 years at these places. So so we always joke that we're the only apartment buildings in the state where nobody's trying to steal our tenants.
Right. Jeez. So 2 questions for this then. So is it like one in, one out, just so if wherever you are on the list, or is it like based upon like need, like they see you?
Yeah. So there's actually a HUD directed list. It's called the HMIS, Homeless Management Information System. So when I say there's 10,000 people, it's real data. It's updated all the time. It's name, social security number, issues, like what disabilities you have, where you're currently staying, what shelter you're in. And all of these groups I've talked about, every time somebody moves in or out, you have to mark them in the system so we know where they are. So yeah, it is sort of, you're on the list, and again, that's just the problem. Think about it. There's 10,000 people. You talked about vets.
Yeah.
I don't know this for sure, but I heard last month, and this is a heartbreaker. There were, cities, counties, and the state give you vouchers, right? A voucher is I can take this piece of paper, walk into an apartment building, and it can serve as my rent payment, and then this city, county, or state gets the bill for it. Except maybe the voucher's worth $500. Well, not a lot of apartment buildings are going to take a voucher for $500.
Right.
I heard that there were 400 veterans with vouchers that they could not use last month.
Jeez.
Okay, so that means they're either living in emergency shelters or somebody's couch or whatever.
Right.
So that can't be acceptable.
Dude, there's such a need for this.
Right.
I mean, it's so sad. So what if like, because one of the videos had a mother and I don't know if she had one kid or she might have had 2 children. So is there more? Are they all 1 bedrooms, or there could be 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms?
So every agency, every nonprofit sort of may specialize in certain populations. So UMOM, Save the Family, they do families.
Yeah.
Right. So if you and by the way, 37% of all homeless are families. It's a big number. Certain nonprofits might do like U.S. Veterans Initiative. They just do veterans. Certain nonprofits maybe do single men, single women. So it just really depends on what your need. Whatever your need is, there are agencies to help, and they do it really well. We need more.
Wow. Have you ever heard of a nonprofit called Sleep in Heavenly Peace?
No.
Yeah, that'd be a great So I do work with Sleep in Heavenly Peace, and it's a nationwide deal, but the chapter here, my girlfriend's parents are very involved in it. So what they do is they do a bunk bed build every year, and they give, every month, and they build 100 bunk beds and provide the bedding and everything. So then, and it's the same sort of deal. So there's a long list of people, to apply. Their kids have never had a bed, like never ever had a bed. And then they deliver them actually and build them or finish building them inside the actual apartment. And man, it's crazy how, for example, this one time, so we went to 59th Avenue in Peoria. There's a complex up there, and there's 3 kids, and we walked into the room that we were gonna put the 1 bunk bed and then just the bed next to it. And the daughter, she was probably 4 maybe. She was pointing to she's like, it was a sleeping bag. She's like, here's my room, with all her stuff around there, and this is my brother's room. And it was just, a room, 10 by 10 room with 3 sleeping bags. And I look and I'm just like, man, it's like, it's crazy, it's sad. And they were so excited. It was like they just got a car for their 16th birthday, right? I mean, they couldn't believe that they finally had a bed. I just see it like a cohesion sort of, these same sort of deals with Sleep in Heavenly Peace is obviously one of the things we were thinking about doing as well. and delivering to. I'm part of a charity called Executive Council Charities, EC70, and then Stuart, my business partner, is a Charo. So we're constantly running, coming across. So we donate to 137 different charities, and UMOM's a big one we do, and Child Crisis Center is a big one, Ronald McDonald's House. But my thing was and we obviously deliver to Phoenix Children or donate to Phoenix Children's, but when you give money to a smaller organization in $10,000 and you see the impact that it has on that organization versus, a giant hospital system that gets $1 billion donated a year, to me, it's been more impactful. For sure. So, not that I'm tooting, but Kind Soul is what the shirt she has on here. So it's a clothing company but it's just basically to raise money, and we just give proceeds. 25% of every shirt goes to Sleep in Heavenly Peace for bedding and sheets and all that sort of stuff. So it's kind of cool. So moving forward, I think that we've touched on the impact that this is obviously going to have on the community, and it's in Arizona right now. Do other states have the same sort of thing going, or is this...
No, we're at certain states. Some states have dedicated tax revenue sources for this kind of thing, but that's a tax revenue source. So actually, I think it's like Minnesota as an example. A percentage of every escrow transaction, a percentage goes to a fund. So, but this is the first of its kind. Where it's private sector and it's philanthropic. But I don't know if you're familiar with the organization ULI, the commercial.
Yeah.
So ULI is a big elite national organization. They like this program so much that they've said that when this has really gotten serious traction and it's really successful and widespread, that they want to write the book on it. So how to do this, all the things that we did. So when Michigan or Alabama or the state of Washington want to do something like this, they don't have to recreate the wheel or guess what will work. They can just take the book and say, here's how you do this. So I do think this will be a model for other states to use, because it's just too good. It's a really good thing.
It is, and it's definitely needed, especially now. Trish and I were talking a little bit about this earlier, about her daughter and her sorority and at U of A, and a lot of the parents been financially, even kids, they got the kids in college and they've had great jobs, and they might have been the restaurant business or something right now, so now they're struggling, and people that weren't homeless or people that didn't have money are now, and more than ever. And it's just shocking the amount of people that were just in our lives that things have happened from an economic standpoint that that need help, right? And it's not just, like you said, it's not just people that are having substance problems or just want to be on the street.
Yeah, we're not even sure what the fallout from this pandemic is going to be. We don't know. We know it's going to be worse. Mm-hmm. Just the examples you gave. We don't know to the extent, but it was really bad before this pandemic, the housing and homeless issue. We just know it's going to be worse.
Yeah.
So, it's crisis.
Yeah. Rent's super high. It's hard to even find a place to rent. It's prices of homes are out of control. So even in we're not even in a normal situation with the housing. People are going to be losing jobs, and everything costs more money. It makes no sense. So there's going to be a problem. We just don't know how bad it's going to be yet.
One of the stats we cite in our website and in the presentation I give is that Arizona is ranked third for the most severe housing shortage in the country. So you always want to be top three, and that's not something you want to be top three in, but that's terrible.
Terrible.
Another stat, it's pre-pandemic, but 25,000 public school students in our state experienced homelessness in a year.
What?
Yeah. How awful is it? 25,000 kids. Now, it could have been for a day or a week, but wow. 25,000 kids. And then the Arizona Republic just last year came out with a stat that 500 homeless people died in 2020. So it's just whatever the stat is.
Yeah.
It's horrific, and it should get everybody angered and trying to do something about it.
So I guess we can do everything that we can do to try to help. Obviously, I want to figure out a way for our company and everything that we're involved to get involved as much as possible. I think that, all we can ask of the people that watch this, please, share this. And if there's any of the podcasts we've done so far that's going to help the community, this is the one. Everything else has been great, but it's basically learning about people. This is more about learning about the fund and our community. So I think it's super important. Please go out there and share this. Do what you can. What's the website?
ArizonaHousingFund.org.
Okay.
And if you're, to your viewers or listeners, if you're interested in getting your organization involved with your real estate company, whatever you are, I always make myself available to give a presentation to a group so they can see what it is and how it works. So always happy to do that too.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously that's where she saw it. So, and then you can come out and do that. I know are we allowed to say the companies you've been working with besides North&Co?
Sure.
Okay, obviously.
We're proud of it, yeah.
Yeah, all right. So HomeSmart, obviously some of the people at HomeSmart, and it doesn't have to be just the brokerages. It could be just an individual agent if this is something that you want to be working on. North&Co as a company has really hit it hard. I know Brokery. The Brokery is, they're in infancy stages, but they're really going after it as well, and they're super happy about it.
Some title companies are matching. Pioneer Title, as an example,
Title.
they're matching.
Okay.
So if somebody in one of their escrows is donating to the Arizona Housing, they'll match. So
Yep.
there's just a lot of, one by one groups are signing up. Yeah.
Right. And then obviously on the website, you can go and donate $1,000 if you
Right.
want to donate.
Right. Yep.
So you have the opportunity to go on the website and donate. So anyways, again, go on to the website, donate, spread the word. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this for us. Trisha, you have a few questions for him that are
I
not
do.
about this, but she loves
Can you guys hear
this.
me? I don't have headphones on, so
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, cool. All right, so Elena, your extraordinary PR person over here, who is really I have to give her props because it was through Elena that we connected. I saw something on Instagram on Brian's story. She saw that I had reshared it, and then she heard the podcast, and it was like this, in I don't know, a week.
Elaine is the best. So,
she is freaking amazing, and now I get to work with her on some brokery stuff. So thank you, Elena, for
Is she
putting this
taking any
together.
new clients though?
But she's not taking any more clients.
We tried to hire.
We tried.
She's that good, guys. She's that good.
Okay, so she helped me come up with the rapid fire questions. So if you have any issues, you can blame her.
Okay.
Okay. Number one, what is the best thing that has happened to you this month?
I got both my vaccination shots for the COVID vaccine.
Oh, sweet. What location did you go through? How was your process?
101 in Scottsdale Road, the passport site. It was pretty easy, and it was one of back when I did it, I'm not one of the priority, right? At the time, you had to be 75 and older, an educator or a first responder, but they scheduled like 15 vaccinations every 15 minutes, and if the priorities didn't fill it up on that day, you could take it.
It's like flying standby.
Exactly. So, like my wife says, tomorrow at 2:15 we're getting our vaccines. I'm like, okay. So so that's the best thing that's happened to me in the last 30 days.
Wait, back up. Hold on. So I can do that?
Well, now everybody's eligible. Effective.
As of like 2 days ago?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
As long as,
2
as
days
long as you're
ago.
over 16, everybody's now eligible. So now it's just go on and book your appointment
Gotcha.
now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I probably should have known that.
Yeah. Okay. Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram?
Twitter.
Twitter, why?
Because I'm an old guy. I've never been a Facebook person. I I only now follow Instagram because of the Arizona Housing Fund.
Right.
And my grown-up daughter is 28 who lives in New York, but she's been staying with us kind of off and on during the pandemic. And I was having this discussion with her last night. It's like I've seen more stuff on Instagram in the last 30 days, and it's changed my mind how the world lives right now with all of those TikTok things and the dances and the songs and the, this is my age, this is my sign, and all that stuff.
What is all that stuff, by the way? I'm just learning this stuff too.
So
are they like this?
We're all old.
Yeah. So Twitter, I actually, yeah, exactly. That's it.
I don't know what that is
Twitter
either.
I like because frankly, I use it. It's a great news source, right?
Right.
So,
But Twitter used to be very young, right?
Absolutely. When my kids
Yeah.
were in high school, Twitter was where, I mean, I don't know about you, Trey, but Paloma spent a majority of her time.
But now
Seemed
it's like
it was on Twitter,
Bloomberg,
and now
right?
she doesn't go on there anymore. So
Yeah.
it's weird. It's like there's trends.
Yeah.
Okay, third one. What else would you want to be doing if you weren't doing what you do now? Like pick another career or hobby, whatever. Just a departure from your day to day. What is it that you would be doing if you could design it for yourself?
I look, if I could live my life all over again, I wasn't smart enough to become a doctor, but I think I would have been a really good one. And it's one of those few jobs that you can do good in the world and make a lot of money. There's very few jobs where you do. So I'd like to do that just for fun. I'm a big music fan, so I would like to be in the music industry, which ironically my daughter's in the music industry. So I kind of live vicariously through her.
What does she do?
She books concerts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in New York. So she works.
Sweet.
I know.
Damn it.
It's I know my wife. We hear her life.
Yeah.
Her life is really. She works all day booking concerts, and then almost every night she's out seeing 2-3 shows a night.
Wow.
And my wife and I like, God, why did we go into real estate?
Right. I know.
Why didn't we do this?
Is she a musician
Seriously.
as well, or is she just on the business side of things?
No, it's the business side. So, but she's just a huge music fan. So but it's an awesome thing.
Yeah, it sounds like your dream job. Trey?
Is it like small venues, big venues, all venues?
So her company is owned by AEG, which is like a Live Nation competitor. So I think she books I have 50 or 100 venues up and down the East Coast,
Oh, wow.
mostly New York. So it's just kind of a cool thing. So
She's
yeah,
met a lot of cool people.
yeah. So again, I'd maybe be in the music industry somehow.
Sweet. Are there any other ones you would like to throw at him, Ryan?
No, I wouldn't. No, but I'm going to say one thing about music. I was just talking to her a little bit ago. Have you ever heard of Billie Eilish?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So I watched
Duh.
I don't know. She's 16 I don't know, or something. I watched, she's got
The documentary.
Yeah. Have you watched this?
Now my daughter, we keep talking, but she said she'll watch it again with
Yeah.
me, but she says I have to watch it.
It's freaking crazy. Like she's definitely like, I think people that are that talented, that gifted are a little off in some capacity. But she has like a journal from she was like 10 years old, like with like songs in it that are dark, right? From just, and her parents are both, and they were actors and singers and like successful in like big shows and stuff. And her brother seems to be an extremely gifted musician. He produces everything for her, and
Yeah, right.
they wrote all the songs together, and it kind of just documents her writing, the process of them writing in their bedroom. But just they're both like incredibly talented, and she was like 15 I think was when they started doing this documentary. And like just the way her brain works, she directed all their videos that she did that were like all won a bunch of like Grammys or whatever. I mean, it's just insane to see like just the talent level.
And she's got that great vibe of I don't really care what you think.
Right. Well, so she's got that vibe, but the truth is she cares
Of course.
too much, right? So that's like a big part of it. It's like I'm going to be this kind of emo girl that just is sad and depressed and music, but really I wear Gucci and diamonds and I want this car and I look at my phone and Instagram all day long, but I struggle with like who likes me and who doesn't like me. And I mean, it's obviously approved of the documentary, but it definitely shows like the torment, like this. I mean, she puts on this huge. She does Coachella. She walks off stage and she just like walks off stage and just is like, that was terrible. I hated everything I just did. I mean, it's a very cool. Sounds super sad, but it's a good introspective look into, you know, a life of somebody like that.
I just heard her on Smartless. Actually, her both of them, she and her brother, and it was actually a very bright, shiny type of interview that I didn't expect. Like very upbeat, very non Eilish-ish.
Yeah.
So
Can you say that again?
Yeah.
that was tough. So yeah, it is sad. I mean, love their stuff for sure. But it's interesting. I mean, everybody's got a backstory,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Which is what we
She also
try
has
to do here.
Tourette's, too. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
That was another thing. She's crazy. She was talking about how this is a Billie Eilish interview now, but she was talking about how she had like the tics and like her mind tells her to bite down, and she was drinking a glass of water and like she bit through the glass. But like at one point in the documentary, she's like having a conversation, and then she goes, "I don't know what's going on," and like she goes and drifts off. Like you can see her eyes kind of roll back in her head, and she's like talking through it. Like, you know, it's just very like deep in look into her life. That you know, I'm shocked that that someone of that like her would even allow or want to do that. But.
Yeah.
Anyways, this isn't a music interview, but if you haven't seen, it's on Apple TV. So again, thanks, Howard. Appreciate it for coming in. Hopefully, this will help and moving forward. Thanks again to Trisha, Elena. She's not for hire, but Elena. That's what I said, Elena.
Oh, okay.
Is that wrong?
Sorry, thought you said Alana.
No, that's
Thought
my
you were
girlfriend.
bringing in.
Nope, I said Elena.
Okay.
And Trey coming all the way in from Atlanta to do the post-production work and help us out here. So we keep it a family affair. So again, thank you, VIP Mortgage, for allowing us to have this in here. Soon enough, we're going to have a studio, hopefully. We were hoping that we had it done before you got here because you were going to be our first fancy guest. But you're still fancy. We just don't have fancy digs for you.
You'll just have to have me back sometime.
Exactly.
Okay.
So thanks again, everybody. Like and subscribe. Trisha, tell them where to go.
Instagram would be at Real Talk with Ryan Madrid, or you can check us out on Facebook. And then, of course, YouTube is really where we want everybody to go. The video component is, I think, what sets us apart from a lot of the other real estate podcasts around here. So go to our YouTube channel and subscribe.
All right. So thanks again. And Arizona Housing Fund, go check it out. Thank you. Appreciate it. Real Talk is brought to you by Tsunami. We all know that we should be doing more videos than we are doing. And one of the hesitations for myself is that I don't feel like I do a very good job filming them. I get nervous about the way they're going to look. And I'm pretty sure that most people feel the same way as I do. So Tsunami is a product that will allow you to film your own videos, and you can send those videos via the app that you can download it on the App Store, and they will make the video look professional because it is done by a professional editing team. So you want a header, you want a footer, you want to just look better in general, and for the cost, it's unbelievably inexpensive. So if you're looking for video help, this is the best way to go about doing it, especially if you want to film videos on your phone like we all should. So it's Tsunami with an X, and that's it.